Hi everybody, welcome back to Markers and Monsters. As always, I'm your host Colin, and we're continuing the Doctor Who-Athon today with a first alien or monster that the Doctor will be fighting. Today I'm drawing a Zygon. Yep, I love these guys. Now, these Zygons are a race of octopus-like guys. They got a cool design. I like the idea that their heads, like inside, they're a giant tentacle. Kind of really weird, and I love that about it. The Zygons are a race of aliens that can change shape. That's their big gimmick. Yeah, I gotta give the props to the people behind Doctor Who. I love the weirdness that, most people, when they would think, oh, let's base an alien around octopuses or squids or whatever, a couple things come to mind. Oh, we'll give them tentacles. And tentacles are creepy, and nobody likes that. Nope, the Doctor Who people didn't do that. People might say, oh, they can squirt ink when they're afraid. Maybe we'll give them a toxic poison they can squirt out. That's their gimmick. Nope, Doctor Who people didn't think of that. They might say, oh, they're very, amphibious and aquatic, and they can go through the water and squeeze into small spaces or whatever. Didn't even go with that. No, they went with the fact that some octopuses can disguise themselves or change color. That's what they went with. They wanted to make octopus aliens, and they thought shape changers. So credit where it's due. You guys thought very much outside of the box with that. The Zygons first appeared way back in 1975 when they were an enemy of the Fourth Doctor. Now, interestingly enough, I had thought for the life of me that the Zygons appeared in multiple classic Doctor Who episodes. But no, when I was doing a little bit of research for this, just Terror of the Zygons from 1975. That's it. That shocked me. I have Terror of the Zygons on, VHS, on tape, and it's a lot of fun. I swear I thought there were more episodes of them, but hey, that's okay. I was very happy. The Zygons are one of the main enemies and antagonists in the 50th anniversary special, so they come back in a big way. And then after the 50th, they're in Peter Capaldi, the 12th Doctor's second season in a big two-parter. They play a very big role. And that's really cool. I'm glad these guys are kind of getting to be a little more mainstream, as it were, or at least in more episodes and stuff like that. Now, if you go back and watch Terror of the Zygons from 75, that's also a really fun one. They plan to, of course, take over the world because theirs was destroyed. So they're in an underwater spaceship. And, of course, they have an alien creature with them, this big dinosaur-looking thing that is a scarcerin, they call it, or something like that. It's this big cyborg dinosaur that they've captured and are using for their own nefarious purposes, and this thing that they have going on a rampage eventually becomes the Loch Ness Monster of legend. So that's pretty cool. The Zygons control a robot Loch Ness Monster, so a lot of fun there. Now goofy stuff. That's why I love Doctor Who. Robot Loch Ness Monster, love it. Now, in terms of the drawing here, I want to get that very pinkish yellow skin tone that they have. They're kind of slimy and gross looking and covered in suckers and stuff like that. And they got that mouth full of gross teeth. So this was a lot of fun to just kind of work on the, the lighting and just kind of make the one side pink, the other side kind of yellowish, and get that. Then the background here, I'm putting in some, just some colored dots to represent computer consoles behind them. The Zygon spaceships are all organic. So everything's kind of wet and ropey, and it doesn't look mechanical at all. It looks more like a living thing. So it's very the dots aren't precise where they're at or anything like that. So a lot of fun to do. Pain in the butt to draw around with all those little dots and tubes and wires and stuff like that. That's one thing with a lot of these drawings. I get a good idea in my head and, oh, this is going to look great. And then I start doing them damn it, man. Why did I do this to myself? Why do I now have to draw around all this stuff? But, it's what you do for your art, So after I erase the lines here and get all this stuff put in, I'm going to start the inking process. This is really just a straightforward drawing, just really fun to get back into drawing a cool monster and really weird looking, and I love that. And that's another big reason I'm a big Doctor Who fan. The monsters are always crazy looking, and I really like that. Unlike Star Trek, they didn't necessarily go with a lot of we'll just slap a rubber forehead on this dude and call him an alien. Occasionally you'll get that here or there, but I really like that even if the monsters look cheap as all get out, which they often do, there's a lot of creativity, and I love when people kind of shoot for the moon. Even if they miss, I'm okay with that. The Zygons here are actually not a good example of that. I think that even in 75, they look pretty good. In the newer series, they look amazing. The makeup department does a great job with them. And it's all practical. I don't think there's any CGI Zygons in the new series. They're all big, giant rubber suits and people inside of them, and covered in slime and stuff. So that's really cool. Love that. Yeah, even back in 75, these guys look pretty good. But yeah, I love Doctor Who. They dreamed big, and sometimes the monsters look like they're made of used garbage bags or something like that. Duct tape and dreams mainly. But you know what? Props where it's due. I would rather watch a cheap, stupid looking monster suit run around than a big old CGI fest of blandness, I guess. I would rather watch old school Zygons in their rubber outfits, which might not look good, than any of the Michael Bay Transformer movies, where everything just looks like nothing. You can't tell. These guys have character and personality, and that's what I love about old school special effects and stuff like that. So yeah, putting in the suckers here and the tentacles and all that kind of stuff is a lot of fun. I think it gives the creatures just a great look. And I just wanted this guy to kind of look menacing, just jumping out at you. Now, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If you're interested in doing the art too, foundations are very key. Practice drawing hands in different positions and stuff like that. Photograph your own hands and do it. I don't think I'm perfect, especially with hands and stuff like that, but I get along okay. Enough that I can, for the most part, picture what a hand is doing and just kind of draw it without resorting to having to find a ton of reference or anything. And I think that's pretty important to do. Again, not that I'm perfect. I know my hands, when I draw them, hands and feet, they're nowhere near amazing, but I like the ability to just kind of draw from my mind and not have to be beholden to a ton of reference to figure stuff out, even though reference is very important and can help you. But anyway, I digress. Looks like we're wrapping up here, just adding in some texture and lines to the background here, and then we'll go in with the white paint pen and give just a couple little dots here and there for in the eyes and stuff like that. There we go. Well, let's get this sucker signed up. Let's take a look at the scan. All right, looking pretty cool. Yeah, shape-changing Zygons trying to infiltrate the planet and take it over by becoming other people. One thing to note, too, I forgot to mention earlier, when they change into somebody, they have to keep the victim alive and in some kind of a trance or something like that for their stuff to work. So cool. Well, that's it for me, guys. We'll see you on the next episode of the Doctor Who-Athon. Peace out.